right. First of all, I apologize for being late. I had to change things last minute. My car was had some service work done. They got behind, and they had a very nice, very sweet old lady running the service shuttle. But when you're in a hurry, she's the very last person you want driving. So I literally just ran in, turned on the camera. I got no time to do show prep. There was usually I tried to get a list of things together, things I wanted to talk about. I'm also running a little bit of a cold, so bear with me. I got one Pride 40 says, "Hail to the Kings." And Perry says, "How's everybody doing today?" Perry, I'm having a bad day, man. I'm just having an awful day. And it sucks because I was so looking forward to this. And I'm battling a cold. And not only am I battling a cold, it's just been hectic. I changed the live stream, in case you couldn't tell, to 7 to 7:20, and I was still a few minutes late. You know what though? I took advantage of a free shuttle service, so that's on me. I wanted to go over a lot of games that happened. I wanted to go over specifically the injuries. The Anthony Richardson injury is really key. The reason why is that I have this weird. I almost hesitate to say this, but I think in the long run, this is going to be a good thing. And the reason why I say I think it's going to be a good thing is that he was so athletically gifted at Florida that he's never stepped on a football field and not been the best athlete. And he found out very fast that he's not the best athlete on the field in the NFL. It's such a different game. And what the Colts try to do is run a college type of offense so that even though he's not really ready for the NFL, you could force him in there and he could have some success. And by the way, if you look at just the splash plays, he looks like the best rookie quarterback out of the, well, you can say three. We'll call him the main three. I mean, the main three, Stroud, Young, and Richardson. His splash plays are the best. I think CJ Stroud's easily playing the best. And it's a, excuse me. You know that's I'm going to take some echinacea right after the show, and usually when I get stressed out, my body breaks down, and I took my car to the dealership to get fixed on Friday. It wasn't fixed right, so I took it back today. I kind of don't want to get into it, but it's just time and money that I don't have. But I should have had my car back around 4 or 5, and they close at 7, and the lady, while as nice can be, it was just a horrible driving. When you're in a hurry and you got a little lady driving you, it is one of the worst things in the world. But she was like beyond nice. So, cortisol levels going up. James, I'm having a day, man. I'm having a bad day, and because I'm not feeling so hot. I'm on the fence of if I'm going to release. I'm leaning towards not doing it this week. And the reason why is that I have my list of power rankings 1 through 32. I have the list ready. I really wanted to go into some more detail. On this video, on my power rankings video, giving you a breakdown of the logic. It was going to be a longer video. The last couple of them have been really short and sweet. I really wanted to put some more time into it. I really just don't. I'm really just. I don't think I have it. I really don't think I have it. So I'm going to lean towards probably not doing the power rankings video this week. So email 67, man. I don't recognize you, man. Great name. And man, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. You're kind of getting me I'm running late. I'm under the weather, but I hope you subscribe. There's a lot of really great stuff. And more importantly, there's some really, really great people in the chat. One thing about this YouTube channel, I'm going to assume that you're new because I don't recognize the name here. I talk football, 32 fan bases, because I want to get your guys' opinion. Even though I do a lot of the talking, it's really just like I offer my opinion. I really want to hear from you guys because I can't keep track of 32 teams. Okay. Well, I mean, I hope you subscribe, man. You listen, by the way, all my social media is below. Hit me up on social media. I do Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. A lot of people have been doing TikTok. A lot of people have been telling me I need to get on TikTok. I'm not a TikTok guy, but man, it's great seeing you, man. And by the way, your question, CJ Stroud, for you. If you followed my draft content, he was my quarterback number one. Now, keep in mind what's indicative now and how he's going to be in a year or 5 years from now could be night and day. One thing about the quarterback position that's different than any other position in the NFL, you really need external sources that help you one way or another. You really do. And in Houston, Nico Collins, kind of a project when he came out of Michigan. Remember, he sat out for the COVID year, but I mean, at the combine, he was like 6'4", 210, ran a 4.42. Like if you were to say, God, build me a wide receiver, you would get somebody built like Nico Collins, but he was very raw. Okay. P. Ryan, I love the dude's effort. The offensive line solid. And I think he got a good coach. I mean, yeah. And so I think like, even though going into the season, you could be like, man, I don't know about Houston. It looks like he's got everything needed to really kind of succeed. He really does. But yeah, he was my quarterback number one. I really like him. I think he's going to continue to get better and better. I really think he's going to be a really good quarterback. Denver Gator just popping in to say what's up. Yeah, I wanted to touch base on this quite a bit because I think this might be long-term the best thing to happen to him. I really thought that he really needed to sit. And I thought Gardner Minshew was the perfect quarterback for him to sit behind because he's polar opposite of AR-15. He wasn't a high draft pick. He's not overly talented, but he had success, and because he takes advantage of doing what he does, making the most out of his limited, it's sad to say, but limited physical abilities. And I think sitting behind a guy like that is really important. Plus, he's familiar with the offense. So I think that this is going to be a good thing because I think he realizes that what he did in college is not going to work in the NFL. And he knows it now. It's so much more mental. So I think this could be a really, 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 really good thing for him long term. Perry says AR-15 is a project. If he hit his ceiling, he will be good. The thing is about running quarterback, do have a higher chance of getting injured more. Absolutely, Perry. And that's why I didn't think that he should have started right away. I think that Minshew should have been the starter year one. Now, I understand because you're the owner, and Peyton Manning started day one Hall of Famer. Andrew Luck started day one and was en route to be a Hall of Famer before he decided to retire. And there's a lot of people that believe that if you are the best way to groom a quarterback is just throw them in. Just throw them into the fire, start them, and the only way you'll learn is from experience. I think just the opposite. I think the best thing you can do is sit for a year behind a veteran quarterback and learn how the NFL is played because it's such a different game. College and high school is the same. It really is. It's just they're bigger, stronger, faster. Usually it's bigger stadiums. Now, that's debatable because some of those stadiums in Texas are crazy, but For the most part, it's the same game though. It's not in the NFL. The NFL is a different game than college. So this could be a good thing for him if he learns from it. Now, if he comes back and he says, "Well, I'm just going to do the same thing," then we got a problem. So, James, if you don't mind, in the description below is my picks video. Do check out my picks video. But I am going to ask you about this one because this is a really great game. And I'm going to go into more detail on this Friday, but this is a great game. I'm going to give you the biggest weenie answer. I almost hate giving you this answer because I don't like it. It's a weenie answer, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. This game's in Baltimore, so I'm picking Baltimore. If it was in Detroit, I'm picking Detroit. This is a really fun game. It's a really fun game, and it's a big game for both teams. It's bigger for Baltimore because they lost to Pittsburgh earlier. Pittsburgh, of course, is 3-2. That whole AFC North is it's cat fight. I mean, it's just Cleveland beat San Francisco, big upset. All right. So I mean, it's much more important to Baltimore. Detroit's winning the North. I mean, unless like multiple injuries happen. I think Minnesota's the only credible threat. And I'm not sold on them. They're going to get better as the year goes on. And they do play Detroit twice in the final 3 weeks of the season. So there is a possibility. But I think it's very unlikely. When I look at the NFC North, that's Detroit's division. I mean, the only way they lose that division is they lose multiple starters. Minnesota gets super hot. And they, and it's happened before. There's a NFL Network had a series like top 10 collapses, and I've seen some crazy stuff over the years. I remember the Dolphins one year. I thought they were Super Bowl bound. They went 9-2, lost the last 5, didn't even make the playoffs. Denver, when Josh McDaniels, I think it was his first year as head coach, started off 6-0, finished 8-8, didn't make the playoffs. There's weird examples, but after watching all 4 of these teams, Detroit's head and shoulders better. So Detroit loses this game, you almost kind of yawn. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's really not. I mean, yeah, you always want to have the 1 seed. But if I'm Detroit, if I get to the playoffs and I win the North and I get to the playoffs and I host a playoff game, win or lose, to me, that's a successful season. Now, there's going to be some Lions fans that are going to go, hey, if we host a playoff game and we lose, it's not a successful season. I'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? Just doing what the Vikings did last year, that's successful. And the difference is between Detroit and the Vikings is the Vikings, after this offseason, they're losing players. They switch defensive coordinators. Getting go at Dalvin Cook is huge. You're going to lose coordinator. You may lose both. You're going to lose free agents, but you've been drafting really well. The team is going to stay together for the most part. So I'm not too concerned. This is a much more important game for Baltimore than this for Detroit. So I do like the Ravens in this game. If this game was played in Detroit, I'd probably pick Detroit. But please do me a favor, James. Watch my video, and if there's any other games that I have one upset pick, and I'm going to go into this in a lot more detail come Friday because I have a lot more information. By the way, email 67. Thanks, brother. Oh my God. Gooch, the talent, the B in the Back Talk brothers is in the house, man. And man, what else could you want here? Gooch getting some love, man. Gooch getting some love, man. By the way, if you're not, for those of you that don't know, in my channel, community, I think it's called Community. There's 2 channels. Luke G Field Review. If you're a Lions fan, I think if you're a Detroit Lions fan, you have to follow Luke G Field Review. It's a must. You have to do it. and also have the Back Talk Brothers and Back Talk Bros and Gooch and Keys. I haven't seen Keys in here, but it's kind of neat because we chat through a chat, and if you want to know any Chief stuff, and I'm kind of hoping these guys do some more draft stuff. But they have a really good channel, and Gooch the talent is here. So, One Pride 40 says, if we don't beat the Ravens, we beat Dallas. I don't. Dallas is all that good. I think you're trying to say you don't think Dallas is all that good. I get that. I get that. Because I know you're not happy I put Dallas above you in power rankings. I don't want to say anything because if I do come out with a power rankings video, you know what? I'll let you know. I switched it up. I put Detroit over Dallas. I'll let you know. I got them higher, and that's such a tough one. I don't want to ruin it for you because I'm probably not going to release the video because I had plans to do a much more comprehensive video. I just I probably won't do it, and that's kind of crappy on my part because I don't always do this, but I try my best that if I say I'm going to come out on a video and I try to come out with the video and I don't do it, it looks bad on me. But I don't have it physically. I just don't. So I'm letting you know right now. I did switch it up. I had Detroit over Dallas in my latest power rankings video, which I probably won't release this week. I'll probably wait till next week. And then in that video, it'll be like it'll be like 20, 25 minutes, but I have a lot more detail. I think the Lions can beat both the Ravens and the Cowboys. I think they can too. I got them losing to Baltimore because it's in Baltimore. I think it's a much more important game for the Ravens. I think that even with losses, the tier system in the NFC is San Francisco and Philly, and then I think you have a second tier. And if you want to tell me Seattle's on it, okay. I don't think they are. I think the second tier is Dallas and Detroit, and which one you have higher. When I released my latest power or my previous power rankings video, I'm probably not going to do one this week. It's just that I'm just beat, but I did have the Lions, and it's a tough one. So, but I think they're on tier 2. But I mean, it's kind of funny because the whoever wins that NFC South, they're gonna host probably the loser of the NFC. When I say loser, team that finished second in the NFC East, and I expect whether it's Philly or Dallas to win. So, I did see that Julio Jones to the Eagles. I'm not 100% sure what it adds or doesn't add. He's not even close to the same guy he was a couple of years ago. At one point in time, I thought Julio Jones, first ballot Hall of Famer, and his play just really dropped off. Play just really, really dropped off. But I always like to think that younger receivers, A.J. Brown's quickly becoming one of the best receivers in football. Devontae Smith has all the tools to be a number one receiver just in his own right. And these two guys I really think can learn from a guy like Julio Jones. So, and one thing is that I've been told this by – I'm sorry, it's not like I talk to the players directly, so I say told this, like I'm just reading things and catching up things. I think Julio Jones is a guy like just phenomenal work ethic, great character guy, a good locker room guy. So I think it's a plus. What's he going to contribute on the field? I think it's very, very little. I think it's very, very little. Slasher says, what a brutal loss. Hopefully the Eagles come back looking better on offense this Sunday. By the way, I'm sorry, Slasher. I'm not doing well today. I did predict this. You go to my last week picks video. This is my upset pick. I have another upset pick, by the way. It's not a big deal. All right. It's an AFC opponent that's on the road. You're still up on Dallas with San Francisco losing. You're still tied with them. It is, as far as losses are concerned, it's probably. I firmly believe that. Well, first of all, I love the Dolphins when they do the champagne thing. I did a video. I don't have it in my description. I did a video, top 10 Super Bowl teams of all time. 72 Dolphins are number one. Until another team goes undefeated, they're going to stay as the best team of all time as far as I'm concerned. There's more reasons than them being the number one team of all time besides the undefeated one, but until they are. I think it's better to lose a game than to go undefeated and deal with all that crap. And this is the game that you want to lose. AFC opponent on the road. Hurts didn't play well. You had some. Yeah, your offense looks a little off. Okay. The defense looked fine. The Jets have a really good defense, by the way. So it's not a brutal loss. Game of the week, as far as I'm concerned, Sunday night, Dolphins at Philly. That's going to be a fun game. Gooch says, Julio, it's a little too late. I think he's fallen off a cliff and he won't help the Eagles much. On the field, no. I mean, on the field, he's going to do almost nothing. I mean, all the speed's gone. I mean, he's a big body with hands, but I mean, to be honest with you, to be honest with you, he's probably going to be like, receiver number 4 or 5. A.J. Brown's having just a phenomenal season. I would call him the best wide receiver in football if Tyreek Hill didn't play, but he'll help in the locker room. And I keep hearing the same thing over and over again. He's an A+ locker room guy. Great work ethic. Everybody really likes him. So, i.e. Patrick Mahomes. Jalen Hurts' worst game of his career by far, although I'm not really a fan of the way the offense is. Yeah, I'm not either. And keep in mind, you guys didn't have – I don't remember. I don't think Slay played. Jalen Carter, who probably my defensive rookie of the year, didn't play. AFC opponent on the road. No, it's and the best part is that you're the Eagles. You can really hunker down now and say, okay, what can we get better on? And yeah, the offense looks a little off. So, well, once you get into the playoffs, you never know. And I've said this over and over again. It's not who's the best team in the playoffs. It's who's healthiest. Let me ask you this one, Pride. Let's say you get into the playoffs and let's just say you have the 3 seed. Let's have some fun. All right. You're probably end up with the 3 seed. You know what? I should know this, but I know Dallas would have the 5 seed. Who would have the 6 seed if we were to play today? Okay, 6 seed. Okay, this is fun, actually. This works perfect. 6 seed would be Seattle. All right. Let me ask you this. Just have some fun with me. By the way, if you were to play Seattle in Detroit for the playoffs, I would pick Detroit to win. But let's just say you play Seattle in playoffs. Let's just say Seattle beats you guys. Goff throws a pick. There's a questionable call, whatever. Would you consider winning the North still a good season? See, I would. Once you get into the playoffs, you never know. I mean, to be honest, I would love to see a Detroit-Seattle playoff game, and I would pick Detroit, but I'm not. I wouldn't feel very confident about it. And then, do they have some injuries? Does Seattle come in completely healthy? There are a lot of things. Raven 76, be more salute. Oh God, this is going to be such a good game. This would be game of the week if it wasn't for Philly, Miami, and Chiefs Chargers is always a fun game. You probably don't care about that much, but the Chiefs Chargers go back and the last the last two games in LA. Now this one's at Arrowhead, but the last two Chiefs Chargers games, one 2 years ago went into overtime, and then last year Chiefs had to score a touchdown. I think was under 40 seconds to take over. It's a fun game. Fun games. Keys is editing top 10. That's awesome. I mean, I wish Keys was here, but by the way, you Back Talk Brothers going live Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Is that correct? If you want to, if you have the link ready, if you want to put the link in the description, what I'd recommend putting in the description and the comments. I wasn't able to get into the show till I got in as soon as you guys were getting off the air. But I'll be looking forward to listening. I don't know if I'll be able to contribute live or not, depending on my work schedule. But yeah, I appreciate that. I don't like the Cowboys' offense, but they can only beat scrubs, but not beat the studs. I'll be honest with you. They showed some stats that under McCarthy they run more, which I was not surprised. Which I was a little surprised about. The offense looks like it's taking kind of a back seat. The reason why I love Dallas is because I love the defense. Micah Parsons Slasher steals it from me. Micah Parsons is such a game changer. He's such a game changer. He does so much, and he didn't have a great game, but yeah, he came up with a key play late. And the Chargers, I'll be honest with you, I keep saying the same thing over and over again. I'm gonna level with you. I'm gonna say a lot of Chiefs fans may get mad at this. If you took Andy Reid and that coaching staff, you put them on the Chargers, the last 5 years, they probably win about 75 games in 4 Super Bowls. I mean, they have that much talent. It's just they're not well coached at all. Top to bottom, Chargers may be the best team in football talent wise. Poorly coached team. I can make case. I mean, Dallas did win the game. I can make case Chargers should have won that game. Yeah, I mean, Micah Parsons is just phenomenal player. Phenomenal player. Perry says the Cowboys got a good defense, but the offense is average. The Cowboys can never get both sides of the ball right. You're right, and I'll be honest with you. I was kind of surprised that they let Kellen Moore go, and I joked around after that goofy play where they lost in the playoffs to San Francisco. I said somebody's going to get fired, and somebody did. But the thing is, though, the offense is taking a step back. CD Lamb had a phenomenal game. I don't think he's used right. I really don't. They gave Gallup a lot of money. He doesn't look right. I know they drafted Jalen Tolbert, and I really was expecting a little more. Brandon Cooks. I don't know if it's age. He doesn't really look like the same guy. I remember he ran the 4.33 at the combine. Brandon Cook's a guy I just had a major man crush on since he came out of Oregon State. And he looks like he's slowing down. The Cowboys with that offensive line on paper looks like it should be a great offensive line. They didn't play that way. Granted, the Chargers defense has the talent to be disruptive. They're just not consistent. This may sound crazy, but we are poor man's 49ers, almost built the same way. It's funny, and I've said this over and over again. John Dorsey, I know he's not your assistant general manager. There's some douchebag who gave me some shitty comments, which I deleted. By the way, one pride, if you put the same comment down, I'd probably let it go, but it was a guy I never saw it before. But when John Dorsey was building the Chiefs, when him and Andy Reid came to Kansas City in 2013, it's almost exactly the same thing. It's just that the Chiefs were a lot more aggressive earlier than you guys. but there's a lot of similarities between what Kansas City did and what you guys did. So it's kind of funny when I look at Detroit, I look at a team that's built a lot like Kansas City. I get what you're saying with the 49ers. I personally don't see that, but I get it. But you have to realize, because I thought John Dorsey, I said this many times, John Dorsey there's not 10 people more responsible for the 49ers Super Bowl than John Dorsey. So I see a lot of similarities between Kansas City and Detroit. But I get what you're saying. I really do get what you're saying. Second overall pick was Aiden Hutchinson, second overall pick. Bosa, kind of a run first team. You have exciting weapons. I get what you're saying. I seriously though, when I watch Detroit, there's a lot of it that's like, God, this team's really. I look at Detroit and I just see a lot of similarities to Kansas City. I really, really do. The big difference is that when the Chiefs split from Dorsey, when they lost in the AFC Conference Championship game, they fired their defensive coordinator. Spags took over, and there's been changes, and that's where you kind of see a difference, because when Dorsey was here, we brought in Bob Sutton, former Jets defensive coordinator, and we ran it was kind of like Rex Ryan's 3-4 defense, and there was a lot of success early on, but there were some issues. There were some issues, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I always kind of look at Detroit as like a northern Chiefs type of team. I really think that. Jones had tons of injuries. If he can stay healthy, he can help Philly. I think the biggest thing he needs to do is just help in the locker room, because you got two young up and coming receivers, and AJ Brown it was like the last 4 games over 125 yards receiving. I remember Mike Vrabel was beyond furious when they traded him, and Vrabel just loved this dude, and that was kind of why he had to pay for Hopkins, and there's still some problems on that offense in Tennessee, and that's something that I was also going to talk about if I get a chance here. Is Tannehill, his injury? How's that going to look? I didn't get a chance to watch that game. I know Malik Willis came in. I think sooner or later we're going to see Will Levis, and I know Vrabel's been standing behind Tannehill, and I think he wants to have a veteran quarterback. But I think the sooner you let Levis take over, the better. That's just kind of the way I look at it. His help's going to be more in the locker room, not on the field. But if he does stay healthy, he could add something to this offense, which is not been the same way. Slasher hot take, he's kind of overrated. I don't think he is, but I do know last week he had that big sack, but except for that sack, he was pretty quiet. He was pretty quiet. I like the way he's being used in Dallas. I like the way he's used. I disagree with the statement, but I get where you're coming from. Ravens, be more. Ravens 7-6, be more. We should be 6-0. We beat ourselves. Our defense is playing lights out. Lamar and the offense will find. Yeah, how you guys lost to Pittsburgh was just ridiculous. They had that long play to Pickens, and I was like, I still thought even after Pickens scored that touchdown, I thought you were going to come back. I'm drawing a blank on the other loss you had, but Ravens are a good team. They're still my pick to win that division. It's just that, all those other 3 teams are really tough. It's going to be such a good game. I can't wait to see it. I got you guys winning it just because you're in Baltimore. And I think that, to be honest with you, if Baltimore loses this game, it's a tough loss because you're in that brutal division where Detroit loses. It's no big deal. They're pretty much locked up. It's hard to believe I'm saying locked up. We're going into week 7, But that's what it feels like right now, is that they're locked up. They're easily the best team in the North. I mean, all those teams in the North look tough. So, but I saw something about a bunch of drop passes, and I'm curious if Monacan, is that's his name, the new offensive coordinator. I'm kind of wondering how the offense is being affected. So I used to think the same. I started watching Dallas games since they've been on before after the Eagles this year, and he's always beating his guy. Just got to get out the ball quick. Yeah, there's a lot of people that think he's overrated. I don't. I think he's a game changer. I absolutely, and also, I mean, he had a real quiet game, real quiet. Like I don't even think I heard his name till late in the game. He got that sack, and then the next play was the interception that iced it. Of course, the Chargers lost in typical Charger fashion, but yeah, I'm a huge fan. He's my pick for defensive MVP. Little trash talk here. I like this here. The Lions are legit. Lions are a really legit team. All these guys, all these Lions fans in the chat, Raven76B more, just so you know, all these guys in the chat predicted that the Chiefs would win week 1. All of them. And I picked Detroit. So that's a flat line. all these guys called it. I have to give them credit. I was like, now we're gonna win big. And it's like, I was like, holy shit. Yeah. Real good team. They might be anyway. They might be a top 5 AFC team. They might be. I mean, I say that not being facetious at all. I think you have the Dolphins and the Chiefs. Those are two 5-1 teams right now. They're going to play in a couple of weeks. It's going to be a fun game. Buffalo's beat up with injuries. Everybody in the AFC North is beat up. I mean, they're just beating the shit out of each other. We didn't talk about Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence may not play. You take Trevor Lawrence away from Jacksonville, there's no way that they're better than the Jets. It's not even close. With Trevor Lawrence, do I trust them to beat the Jets in the playoffs? I don't know. I mean, I love Travis Etienne, but I mean, Cook and Breece Hall, is that better than Travis Etienne? Yeah, it is. The defense is better. I mean, is there a better defense in the AFC than the Jets? I don't know. I really don't. I really don't. They may be a top 5 AFC team anyway. It's going to be such a good game. It's going to be such a good game. Last time Julio was on the field, he had 7 catches, 74 yards, and a touchdown versus Dallas. As long as he can uplift the other guys and catch some big passes in tight situations, yeah. You have to realize there's no ceiling on AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith can be a number 1 guy on his own. So a guy like Julio Jones coming in as a mentor, it should mean a lot. It really should mean a lot. And I don't know what kind of a bond Julio and Devontae Smith have going back to Alabama, but it'd be kind of, I always like, hey, we're both Bama guys, but I don't know how much that applies or doesn't apply. I like to think it does, but it may not. No doubt. I do respect how Dan. Yeah, he really did. What a great job he's done. One of the top candidates, maybe the guy who's on the top of the list to be a coach of the year. Holy shit, you're at Lake of Ozarks. So I have a buddy of mine who has a bed and breakfast out at Lake of Ozarks, and I wanted to take advantage of it. Real good guy. Real good guy. I haven't talked to him in a while, but I've been down there once and I loved it. I want to go back. I tell you the truth, I really wish I could make a vacation. Most of you may know Lake of the Ozarks from the TV show Ozark. It's kind of sort of like that. I actually, it's funny that the show's actually not filmed at Lake of the Ozarks, which is kind of comical, but it's not. But it's a great place. it's a great place. I wish I can come down more often. So, man, that's awesome. That's awesome that you're at Lake of the Ozarks. You're a Bucks fan, which is really awesome. Oh God, that's so awesome. They're a pretty physical. Heck, you have experience with Campbell's first year. All right. I know the goal is to win a playoff game. Is it a successful season if you lose? Is it a successful season if you lose? I think it is. I really think it is. I mean, they're 27th in goal line defense. Which team? Which team? The Ravens or which team? The Cowboys O-line's on the downside. Dak is above average at his best. It's a sad because they used that first round pick on the kid out Tulsa. I'm drawing a blank on his name. And I thought they were going to use him on the left side. That's what they did last year and put Tyron Smith on the right since Tyron Smith's declining. Instead, they got him at left guard next to Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith's not the same guy. I mean, a lot of injuries over the last couple of years. Was it Zach Martin signed that big contract? He's not the same guy. I mean, there was a time where it was like he's like this first or second best guard in football that's gone. I call him Trevor Badass, BDS, the center out of Wisconsin. Fun fact is that they traded with Philly in the fourth round to get this kid. Kind of a fun fact. He's good, but it's kind of funny. He's from Wisconsin. If you don't know anything about college football, Wisconsin's a very boring. Well, they used to be. They've changed some things up, but they were a very run-heavy team, and I didn't think he'd really fit in with McCarthy's offense. But so far it's been okay. But the O-line is on the downside. I want to disagree with you about Dak being above average, but he's not elite. He's really not. Here's the deal. He was at his best. I hate comparing him with Russell Wilson, but both him and Russell Wilson are at their best when it's a run-heavy team, and then they can go play action and use the running ability. And the more you pass with these two guys, the less effective they are. And forget the stats, forget the numbers. Just when do they win more? And they win more with run-based, heavy run-based teams. When he had successes as a rookie, it was because they were running the ball constantly. He was doing play-action passing. He was using his legs. They want to make him, and he's improved as a passer since he's come into the league. I mean, but the strength of Dallas should be when they're more of a running team, and McCarthy wants to throw the ball, which is a little ironic that they're more of a running team now than they were with Kellen Moore. I was expecting a flip, but Perry, I think we beat them. It's going to be a fun game. I don't know when you guys play the Cowboys next. I mean, I know you're playing. You have a real tough one. Against Baltimore, but are you guys playing the Cowboys? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh God, it's gonna be so. Last 3 games of the schedule for the Lions are Minnesota, Dallas, and Minnesota. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. And by the way, it's going to be so different between now and week 17. So, Cowboys only flawless Dak Dakota. I think he played his best. I think he played his best football when the team was built around Ezekiel Elliott and a dominant offensive line. And then he's got a strong arm. He's above average runner, big dude. I mean, real big dude. But I think leaning on him to win games for you is yeah. Yeah, I really so what they're doing is they're giving him about 20 touches a game, more or less. And I always liked the way he was used with Ezekiel Elliott, where you have Elliott who's more of the pounding back. And I don't like I complained about this with DeAndre Swift. When I used to watch him play for the Lions, they always used him between the tackles, and that just drove me nuts. And I'm seeing Dallas do the same thing with Pollard, who's a smaller dude. Like, they need a bigger dude to take some of those carries off. But you're right. You're right. The Cowboys get so much press, the players lose focus, and yeah, they do, and it's always been a problem. It's always been a problem. Yeah. There's another flaw. Ravens O-line in I've never been sold on McCarthy, but talent-wise, they're as good as they get. And if I owned a NFL team, I would probably be a lot like Jerry Jones. So. Oh, dude, I didn't. Hey, man, tell your dad happy birthday for me. That's awesome. I keep rubbing my head because there's like a pounding in there. I've never seen Top Gun 2, and everybody's told me it's good. Every single person I've talked to says it's good. Like, it's very rare that universally you'll see a good movie, and I keep hearing it, and I haven't watched it. I don't know if I want to even. I really don't know if I want to, because I'm worried I'm not going to like it. So, but tell your dad happy birthday. Yeah, he does. The Lions can beat the Cowboys if they play hard and tough football. I think the Cowboys will fold in games where you hit them. We'll see what happens. Because he played great against Tampa Bay in the playoffs, and then horrible against San Francisco. So Denver is Patrick Surtain on the trading block. He would fit Baltimore well. Wishful thinking. Don't be surprised if Baltimore tries to make a move. I don't think he is personally. Denver Gator would have to answer that. I from what I'm gathering, even though they're in a really bad situation, I really think that. Well, you know what, Denver Gator. I don't think they're going to do a fire sale like a lot of other people do, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. Now, keep in mind, if they move on from Russell Wilson, they would take a major cap hit, and if they do, I think they would have to get rid of Patrick Surtain and some other veterans. It'll be very interesting to see what they do. Very interesting. The trade deadline is coming up in a couple of weeks. I do agree with you, Brady. You know what? I love Patrick Surtain Sr. played in Kansas City, and I would love for him to be in Kansas City, but corner's one position we really, really don't need. Really don't need. So, but God, that would suck. It'd suck for the NFL. It'd suck for the NFL, but it'd be good for the Ravens. When I think about the Chiefs, they out scheme, not out physical you. The Lions will out physical you. Yeah, I get that, but when I look at the way the teams are built, and I look at, I mean, okay, I get where you're coming from. Like I say, when I look at the Lions, there's just so much of what Dorsey did in Kansas City. It reminds me of what he did. When I think I mixed it up here, but when I look at the way Detroit is built and the way Kansas City was built when Dorsey came in 2013, there's a lot of similarities. Do you feel the Titans can develop Will Levis? So we'll have to find out, because here's what's going to happen after this season. I think Derrick Henry's contract's up this year. I think they move on from Derrick Henry. Hopkins is still going to be around. You have Treylon Burks, who's banged up, but he's got a world of potential. So you have some receivers with talent, but they're both bigger, physical guys. They don't have a speed dude. The way this draft is coming up is that you could go receiver or you can go tackle, and they need one of each. It's hard to say. But I'd be very interested to see what they do in the draft to help them out, because they would need to get a big. You could go left tackle very easily, and they've been drafting tackles and it hasn't panned out. They can do that. They drafted a left tackle. I thought he was going to play left tackle. They moved him inside the guard. Is the plan? I'm drawing up Starnansky. Are they going to move Starnansky to left tackle? I'm sorry, this is like a weird thing in my head bothering me. I don't think you guys could see it, but it's like just like weird, like boom right here. So I almost feel like you guys could see it, but I don't think you can. So do you go tackle, which is possible? Do you go big time wide receiver? You can get one. And you got Treylon Burks, who hasn't developed, but still has a world of potential, and you got Hopkins, a future Hall of Famer. So the answer is maybe. But if they go defense in the draft, which Vrabel likes to do, and there's some good players, then I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think they can. Let's see if it pans out. Do you think now Fields might be hurt? Do you think the Bears with the first overall pick? Well, so he's not playing this week. It's a if I remember correctly, it's a dislocated thumb on his throwing hand, which I'm now hearing that it may not be out as long as they thought. He's not playing this week. Now, if you're the Bears, you get the Panthers' first round pick. So you got to wonder. Here's the drill. If I'm Chicago, and I can get something for Fields, I would move on. But if you're Chicago and you're sold on Fields, then this is the draft that you have to figure out what you want to do. Carolina's going to win a few games. Let's be very clear. I could see Chicago still having the first pick in the draft, but they're not going to go 1 and 2. Okay. They're going to end up with 2 pretty high draft picks. What do you do with those picks? Now, if you believe in Fields, which I would take a quarterback, I would try to get rid of Fields and try to get something. That's what I would do. But if you're sold on Fields, you go left tackle and receiver. Do you go receiver and an edge rusher? Do you go left tackle and trade down and try to get picks? I mean, there's so many questions. If I'm the Bears, I do move on, but in order to move on, you have to get rid of Fields. And what's the value? Is there? Trey Lance got a 4th from Dallas. Is there a team that would give you a 3rd? I don't think there is, but if you can get a 3rd, I would do it. So. Ravens 76 B More says yes, a total of 8 drop passes. Monikin's an excellent play caller to wide receivers. Yeah, there's a lot of drop passes. Flowers is a guy that's going to get better as things go around. OBJ is I think still a solid number 1 when he's healthy. He's just always hurt. Andrews is your best receiver. I think he even had a drop or 2. And I can never remember his name. First round pick out of Minnesota. I love this kid, but he just can't stay healthy. Now, Ben Johnson's, yeah. Be more, we may need his services. Oh God, Surtain to Detroit. Oh God, that would be fun. Robert Saleh is a great DC. Might turn the Jets around. We'll have to wait and see. They've been playing a lot better. Yeah, there's a lot of things I like about Dan Campbell. I don't think Mike MC has had bad. All right, don't think Mike McCarthy has had the media and his people make him out to be. Are you talking Mike McCarthy or Mike McDaniel? I was floored last year when you guys got Roquan Smith. I was floored. I did not see that coming. You never know. And Baltimore's an aggressive team. Oh, okay. Yeah. If we win the NFC North and host a playoff game as part, yeah, I think just winning's good enough. And did be more all love when it comes. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great game. Week 15. The last couple of weeks of the season is going to be fun. Zeke was a beast after he got beat. Yeah, I mean, he took so much punishment, and then they made a mistake by giving him the money. They really should just let him go then and there. But him and Dak were best friends, and they weren't ready to have Dak shoulder the whole offense, and now they're trying to push on Pollard, and yeah. Really? I may not see it. You know what's crazy? The Chiefs offense doesn't look explosive with these wide receivers. Yeah, it's funny because the Chiefs. This is me and my family have been talking, and it's like, God, we love this. I mean, you have to realize I loved Marty Ball. I loved Marty Ball so much. Schottenheimer was just amazing. I loved it. And the good news, the difference is between this and Marty Ball, if the Chiefs are down by 5, 2 minutes on the clock, there is like we might get lucky. But with the Chiefs with Mahomes, it's like, yeah, we got it. It's a different feeling, but the receivers are young and they're improving. So I know Flowers and the guy from Minnesota whose name I cannot remember for the life of me. Denver need to clean and rebuild, trade vets for capital. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I get what you're saying. Titans need to bring in a veteran quarterback to help. Well, that's what they have in Tannehill, and he'll be gone. I think Willis will be gone, and they'll bring in a veteran. But that's kind of what I see. I don't think Justin wants to help his team be bad so he can find. The Bears need. That's what if you think he's your guy, I go left tackle and wide receiver. That's what I would do. If you don't think he's the guy, and I don't think he is, I draft a quarterback. And then I would go left tackle. I really would. That's what I would do. Yeah, there's a lot of problems. Are you talking? Oh, you're talking about Surtain. Oh, the Cowboys head coach McCarthy's not as bad as the media says he is. I'm not sold on him. And I think Dallas, because Jerry Jones interferes, there's so much hype on each year. He's not bad. He's not bad at all. If I had ranked coaches 1 through 32, I don't think I'd put him in my top 5. We were trying to do it. We were trying to think. I think there was more than I thought. Originally, I thought there was only 6, but I think there's 8 coaches that have won a Super Bowl that are still playing or that are still around. He's one of them. So, it's funny because I kept on trying to defend Jason Garrett, and then he went to the Giants and couldn't get that offense turned around. And I think he's doing pretty good on TV, but I think he's better than Garrett. But I really think that I'll be honest. So when Jerry Jones wanted to hire a head coach, he wanted a guy who's already won a Super Bowl. And I think his dream hire is Sean Payton. But I think he likes McCarthy. I don't know how good you would call him, but yeah. Rice, wide receiver. Yeah. I really like him. Guys, listen, I'm sorry. I'm just I'm just dying here. I'm really sorry. I'm gonna cut the show short. I was gonna do my best to power through it, but I could barely talk. I'm just dead. So I'm gonna run. I'm gonna cut things short, and I apologize. I'm gonna try to. If I feel I'm gonna be back on Friday, I'll talk about a lot more things. Check out my video, my power rankings video. I'm not gonna be able to do it. So I apologize for ending things short. It's just um, I just can't do it. So anyway, I hope everybody's feeling good, and I hope to see everybody back on Friday.